Hey, what's going on, everybody?
We just want people to smile when they start with us. That's the only thing, Maury. That's it.
It works every time.
It does. It for some reason. I think but they don't want to hear it from me. They just want to hear it from me.
It's, you know what? I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, well, IoT Nuggets, we're not taking it on the road as a comedic show. I can assure that.
That's true. But we are crushing it. And we're doing, this is our third segment with NuvolinQ. So President and CEO of the company, Mr. Maurizio Tersigni, has joined us once again. And you should go back and watch the first two segments if you
haven't already. How could you not?
Absolutely. We talked a little bit about the company. We talked a little bit about security in IoT and what NuvolinQ brings to the table in that regard. And now we're going to go into what's ahead. So it's a natural progression. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to leave it to you, gentlemen. Take it away.
Natural progression, just because we're so professional here.
That's right.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Maury, for anybody that may not have looked at episode 1 and 2, tell us about your company.
Sure. I'm Maurizio Tersigni, President and CEO of NuvolinQ. And NuvolinQ provides, quite simply, secure and highly available network connectivity for enterprises looking to deploy IoT solutions. And we do that pretty much globally.
Excellent. Well, I know that we're always looking forward to the introduction of new technology and new concepts around our IoT industry, because having been in it for 30 plus years, it never ceases to amaze me that people come up with new, really cool, disruptive things to bring to the market. So tell us about what's coming next for the company.
Yeah, so our next big push, which we've been working on for a little while, is to get into the EUICC game, the embedded SIM capability, mainly because a lot of our partners in the OEM space are now starting to gear up to develop their products with an embedded SIM and an EUICC capability. So as we looked into getting into it, obviously there's a quick approach. You go to the big providers, G&D, Thales, and some of the others, and license their platform. We decided we needed to do something and wanted to do something a little different, a little more far-reaching. And so we decided, we started building our own platform. And it allows us to do things a little differently. By licensing an existing platform, you're pretty much
stuck.
You're stuck. It's like doing a deal and agreeing to use AT&T's network. That's great because they got a nice network, but it's their network and you do it their way. So we wanted to take full advantage of the fact that we have a broad array of native connectivity connections with all the tier 1 carriers and bring that forward in the UICC environment. So we developed our own platform that we've contracted with G&D to provide the SIM. And what we've asked them to do is customize it such that they'll provide us our SIM, but whether it be MFF2 embedded or what we call removable plastic until they slowly phase out. With our bootstrap on it, that is a global bootstrap, so that the device can land anywhere and turn on and work. Then we are able to then over the air load any native tier 1 carrier on it and change it without touching the device in the field. But more importantly, we've asked one of the key elements that is different is we've asked those SIMs to have 3 secure domains on them. One to carry the profile, one to carry the bootstrap, and one to carry a failover profile. So that once you've activated the device and you've loaded the carrier that's going to be on that device, you also have a failover carrier on there. And it's usually global in respect, so that should something happen, your device will fail over, will notify us, we'll do the triage, we'll fix things, and then we either fix the existing profile or if there's a problem with it, or if that underlying carrier is having a problem, we decide we just change carriers over the air, flip it.
Put a new profile on it.
So we can give customers now not only the flexibility of having any carrier and deploying without worrying, because we can get that onboarding done over the air out in the field, but they're always on. So we can further, we're already unique in the industry in providing SLAs to our customers, but now we can provide really hardened SLAs, virtually guaranteeing them never to be down. So always on service, and the flexibility of over the air changes as required.
Do you think that the industry can handle this at this particular point? I mean, and this is unique. This is you've taken the time to integrate the best aspects of the security needs around in the embedded SIM world, and as it comes down the pipe, I mean, you seem to be building something that's light years ahead of other people. The industry can handle it in the fact that they're starting to, let's face it, embedded SIM and UICC has been available, in the consumer world for a while. Right.
The adoption hasn't been that great, mainly because there hasn't been an impetus for it. Enter Apple, and like everything else they do, they kick the door down, and now everybody needs to be in the game. So, we think it's, and we're seeing from our OEM partners, they're now taking it seriously. They're starting to build, even the people we've been dealing with for years on the payment side, as we've helped them certify their payment devices. Now we're helping them configure their devices to be built with embedded SIMs in it. So they're ready for it. But the whole notion, the reason we went a step further, provided like failover and that kind of thing, and native connectivity, is because that's what they're I think future-proofs the situation and takes us kind of, we went to the trouble of not licensing an existing platform, so we needed to make sure it had enough attributes that we stood out in the crowd and gave you better service. One of those things that will address our broadcast customers is it's all done on a single APN, secure APN.
Right.
Why that's important to them is they use devices that require 3 carriers in that device because they aggregate their data, because they're pushing so much data. And right now, if they've got, for as an example, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon in their fancy box that does the aggregation, those are 3 APNs they've got to worry about. And as they want to make changes, they got to juggle APNs and so forth. They can now do it all on one APN. They can actually change, double up on Verizon, kick out Verizon, put in double T-Mobile, do whatever they want to do over the air without worrying about the APN. It just transforms their business in the field because they're all trying to do this live while they're trying to film a major event.
So I know that we've talked about this before. Is there an awareness and education challenge you have?
Yes. There's that. As much as a lot of this stuff sounds really cool and sexy, we need to educate some customers. Going back to our security discussion, some customers actually need an education on why they need security.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the same holds true here. We got customers, banks, our broadcast guys. They're clamoring for what we're bringing forward on the UICC, and we got some other customers that find it interesting but need an education.
So, you're based in Toronto, but we know now that you're expanding into Europe. And tell us about your U.S.-based business and how people can get a hold of you and why. Yep.
So So we're headquartered in Toronto, as you mentioned, in Canada. We moved into the U.S. Several years ago, and we typically we follow our customers. Our customers bring us into our markets. So as we develop the Canadian customers, they are typically branch plants of big U.S. corporations. They then liked the service so much and brought us into the U.S. And now we're doing an extensive business in the U.S. The same thing is happening in Europe. Our customers are bringing us into Europe, saying, "Okay, I need you to service me now from my locations in Europe." So we've gone out, we've hired people. Local people in Europe that are very, very enmeshed in the IoT space. They're now helping us put up our infrastructure. We're putting up our infrastructure because we build infrastructure in every region. So we got Canadian infrastructure, U.S. infrastructure. We'll have Europe infrastructure, so that data stays pretty much where it's being used. It's not moving around the world everywhere. And it's our customers are helping us expand, so which is the best way for us to do that, because it's we're active and profitable with them right out of the gate. We've never employed a philosophy of let's just build it and they will come.
Good.
We go with them. So
excellent. Well, again, great segment. Wanted to learn about the one, and the name of it is going to be called
1.0. It's one SKU, one SIM, zero touch.
There you go. Awesome. I think that's a great name for this new technology coming out. So excellent. Maury, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the information. Let's continue on the education and brand awareness. I think it's
absolutely
critical that people actually understand that there's a tremendous security alternative going on right now.
Terrific. Thanks very much, Steve.
All right, Mr. Doug.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Once again, another great segment. And Maury, I can appreciate listening to, the idea of this worldwide connectivity, bleeding edge technology combined with tried and true solid business practices in terms of what markets you go to and why you go there. So it's very, very nice to hear the whole story, how it comes together. Sounds very solid to me. And once again,
That's all that matters.
Yeah, well, exactly. I'm the arbiter of what is sound business practice.
Good.
But once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. NuvolinQ.com, right as it is spelled there next to Maury's name. And then Steve has it right there. Look at that. They're both doing it.
We're both pointing that.
We're very well trained.
They're coming along nicely. BH IoT Group.com is the website for Steve and John Hubler and the rest of their crew to discuss IoT deployments and what's going on in the industry. You've got some of the top minds right here on this broadcast. And thank you once again for joining in, everybody. See you next time on IoT Nuggets.
Thanks very much.
See you guys.